Welcome to the Geek in Review, the podcast focused on innovative and creative ideas in the legal profession. I'm Marlene Gebauer. Greg is not going to be on today, so I'm just going to get started. We have our second Love and Legal Tech feature, and today we have with us Sonja Ebron, who's the CEO of Courtroom5, and Debra Slone, who's the CKO of Courtroom5. So Sonja and Debra, welcome to the Geek in Review.
Great to be with you, Marlene.
It's good to be here.
So, just for clarification for the audience regarding this series of discussions, we're going to use the term legal tech as the standard phrase for the discussion, but we're using a very broad definition I've mentioned to both of you to include innovative processes like, practice strategies, process improvement, project management, and, all kinds of other innovations that may not fall into the pure technology definition. So, we don't want anybody calling us later and saying, that's not really technology, right? So let's get started. What do you both do in legal tech space?
I'll start off. Let me just say I'm taking off your comment about legal tech. We're not actually in legal tech. We provide a legal technology, a form of it, for pro se litigants as opposed to law firms, which is what most legal tech does. And so we are firmly in the justice tech space, as it's known. Courtroom5, as you may know, Marlene, is one of the founding members of the Justice Tech Association, along with several dozen other companies, serving consumers directly with technology solutions. And so it's just really happy to be in that space. So what I do as CEO is, I've got my hands in some of everything. I lead the technical team. I dabble in some of the marketing. I do everything pretty much that Debra doesn't do. She's the sort of strong horse here.
Yeah, and I think since we last spoke, Sonja, you guys have gotten some awards and some quite a bit of recognition, if I remember correctly.
It's been a good time. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. We've got a long way to go. Always, this is a tough nut to crack, we think, in the industry. But just really passionate and happy about the progress we've made.
Yeah. So Debra, tell us about what you do.
Yeah, Courtroom5 is a very content-heavy company. We're trying to educate as well as encourage and instill some confidence and empowerment. And so my job is to I'm totally responsible for all the content on the site. So I'm to create it, I'm to collect it, hand it out, store it, preserve it, manage it, maintain it, all that stuff, all the knowledge base for Courtroom5.
And that must be quite a job, I would imagine.
It is a huge job.
She keeps a lot of people busy. Debra, for those who don't know, is a PhD librarian. And so that's really a perfect role for her. It's one of the things I tout to some of our investors and other folks. We've actually got a PhD librarian. And we think of the solution that we provide for consumers is really just-in-time delivery of the legal information they need. Right. Mm-hmm. So the tech really just distributes all the great work that Debra and her team do.
Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit how the two of you met, and I'll let whoever wants to start.
We met in Durham, North Carolina, over a spades game, which I won. It took it was a long game. It was 3 hands spade, 3 people. And that's how we met, and after that we've seen each other ever since. So
long time ago, absolutely. Yeah. I barely remember that game because I rarely lose. I rarely lose a spades game, and so I'm sure I've blocked it from memory.
So
a long time ago.
Had you met one another before, or was
no, the very first time.
And was that third person? Was that the person who brought you together?
No, actually, it's a terrible story, but she was actually a girlfriend of mine, and so.
Whoops.
As it were, absolutely.
Sometimes those things happen, and it seemed to work out for the best for everybody. So.
It's been a couple decades, and so it worked out very well for everybody.
That's good. So what's been the best thing about being in the same profession and not even in the same profession, but I mean the same company for the two of you?
For me, it's been the ability to say something and have her understand it fully. I couldn't do that as a librarian, and she did. But as two people working together, we have the same goals. We have the same pretty much the same outlook. We know the same people. We can talk about things, and we just know what's going on. We just keep each other abreast of what's going on. So I think that's a wonderful thing, a wonderful part of working together.
I would just add, we're both we both got into this because we're found ourselves being screwed over in court, and to be able to see people succeeding with the solution we built for them, it's just really satisfying. Yeah. That is just incredible to be able to share that with Debra. We've been working on this. It seems like since we were both in kindergarten, a good long time now. But just to see folks who really wouldn't have an option to get any kind of justice in court without a lawyer, have a better day in court with our solution and share that with us.
Yes.
It's great for the entire team, but certainly it's something that is, really makes our day when we get that kind of feedback.
So a shared passion, but I also imagine complementary skills. And that probably helps the two of you where, one is strong, maybe the other is less, and if the other's strong and vice versa. So do you find that happening?
Yes.
I think so, absolutely. I mean, I didn't understand, and I've known Debra for a long time, I knew she was a librarian. And I didn't really understand what librarians do until I was working with one in this way. Right?
You're not alone.
Right. I mean, it's really amazing, the skills that librarians have and the way that they can apply them. We're in a knowledge, era. And to see these professionals just curate information and figure out what people need and deliver it to them is miraculous. And so it's been very educational, continues to be educational for me on a daily basis. I think, we get to sort of approach the problems that we have as a business from very different perspectives. I'm technical. I'm an engineer. I don't think like a librarian. Debra doesn't think like an engineer. And so for us to just sort of sync up on the business problems that we have from those very different perspectives, it's really joyful.
So I'll flip it then. So what's been the most challenging thing about being in the same profession and the same company?
Being at work all the time.
Work bleeds over, I guess.
Yes.
It does. It does.
So we have to spend a lot of time or scheduling. We have to schedule our personal life, then we have to schedule our work life, and we have to schedule, just mundane things that people wouldn't normally schedule. We have to do that because we're just, otherwise we just be in work mode all the time. So that's the most challenging thing for me.
And for me as well. It's like we're in a constant business meeting. The lights never go out at the business, right? Right? We're just always working. And so we've had to develop some skill around siloing different conversations. There are conversations you have with a business partner, and there are conversations that you have with a life partner. And, if you're not careful, they can bleed into each other, and you're just always doing both all the time. And so we've gotten really skilled, I think, at naturally understanding, okay, am I talking to my business partner or am I talking to my wife, right? And just keeping the lines clear there.
What are some... Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Deb.
Oh, I'm sorry. We just code switch. Sometimes we just slip right into work business and vice versa, personal business. So
I was going to say if you could share some sort of tips in terms of how to silo those things, because I mean, I think even couples that aren't in the same professions, like, you start talking about work and then you can't stop talking about work, and like, how do you be? It's like, all right, time to stop that and move to personal things.
I would say you have to be very intentional about it. So Debra mentioned having to schedule, things, and we literally put everything that happens for us personally and professionally on a calendar, right? And so in that way, the lights switch off and on. But also, we're both very strong-willed people, very assertive people. And so, Debra will say, at 3 a.m., I don't want to have a business meeting right now.
Why not?
Right. That's exactly what I say.
Come on, I'm thinking about it. It's like
thinking about it, right? And so, she does this more than I do. But just drawing lines, right? No, we're having dinner. Let's have dinner. Okay, let's just enjoy, ourselves, and we can talk about business at the, tomorrow, or schedule it. It's on the calendar. We'll do it then, So you have to be very intentional and willful about it, because it is difficult. It is a very challenging thing, and you get burnt out on certainly running a startup, right? And it's really easy for that to bleed into the personal relationship, and so and you just, it gets messy if you don't draw those lines.
Absolutely.
So what kind of reaction do you get when you tell others that you work for the same company?
Oh, I could never, right? I could never work with right. I hear that a lot, but also I hear people who, those who like their spouses, I guess I should say, who are like, wow, that would be so cool to be able to spend the whole day, and you have to say, well, most days that's true, right? But you do have those tough days too. So, so I hear a variety of responses personally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, most of what I hear is that, oh, that would be nice. You don't have to drive over anywhere. But yeah, but they're thinking it's all rosy.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's an extra layer of work, in fact.
Yeah, that sort of leads into my next question. How do you handle situations where, you don't agree on how to handle something, that you're, both facing, both personally and professionally?
Yeah, we constant business meetings. Again, we're both pretty much equal owners of the business, and so very rarely do I get to say, well, I'm the CEO, I'm going to do it this way. It just doesn't work that way for a variety of reasons, including this is my life partner. I can't do that so often, It's difficult. We talk a lot. We reach consensus. And I think over the time of the business, we've come to understand that consensus process, it tends to help us reach better decisions. Over time, we think things through, and we're both overeducated, both PhDs, and so we think about things 360 anyway, right? Which again adds an extra level of work to the consensus process. But we think things through, and we do that in collaboration with each other, and we keep talking about it unless there's an emergency, unless something has to be done today, right? That's mostly on my, that's mostly my call. But if it's a big decision, sometimes really small ones, like what should the email campaign look like this week, right? But we talk it out. We talk it out. And so there's a whole lot of words exchanged to get to some of these basic decisions.
Yeah, there was one about 2 years ago. There was a change that we wanted to make, and Sonja really wanted to change, and I was like, oh, hell no. And we talked, and we talked, and we talked for days. We just talked about it, and we finally came to a consensus. But we both had to make some compromises. We both had to give a little on each side, and it worked out okay. But that was the longest time we've ever had a consensus session. I mean, it just went on for I think like a week and a half or something.
Wow!
And we just we talked it out.
Yeah, you do. I mean, we've gotten good over the years at planning our roadmap, and so we do that as owners. And then once we come to some very high level decisions, we engage the team, and we get a more granular level of what's going to happen when. And so we rarely have these sorts of issues, on a day-to-day basis, right? But then there are opportunities that come up. There are new challenges that come up, that throw those plans out the window, and we have to have these day-long, sometimes week-long conversations about how to deal with them.
It helps when the team can sound in on it sometimes.
They can be the tiebreakers.
Yeah, they sometimes are.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are always things that we just haven't thought about, right? And so, yeah, it's good to engage as many people as we can.
Well, it seems like anything else, like communication is key, right?
Yep, you got
Absolutely.
it.
All right, so tell me some of the interesting things that you guys are working on now.
Everything is interesting. We're still a startup. We're a tech startup, right? I think for me, personally, we are continuing to build out our AI roadmap, which we have to do very carefully. We hear a lot about AI and legal tech these days, obviously. But there's AI, again, that's built for law firms, right? And then there's AI for legal consumers, which is a different level of effort. We have to build in guardrails for people who aren't skilled in this area at all. They don't know how to fact check or, gut check or any of the stuff on the legal information and analysis that they're doing. So really excited about the progress of that. We've released a couple features already, which are doing really well, serving our customers really well. But we've got, about 2/3 of the process still to go, and just really excited about that. And I'm, again, leading the technical team, but the bulk of it, as anybody in AI knows, is the data, is the training. And that's where Debra's having a really good time, and I'm having a good time watching her and her team.
Debra's in charge of the data strategy, right?
Yep.
Sometimes it's trying to get it to say what we want it to say is a challenge, but we manage on a daily basis.
I mean, can you share any of some of the new tools that are there, or is that still top secret?
I think I'll just share, most of it's top secret, so we can't talk about it until it's released. But we have released a couple chat bots, one for members of the public, folks just wandering through. And so we get to watch the bot just converse with them about their specific issues. As you might know, pro se litigants don't really know what's relevant to their issues or how to even think about some of their issues. Sometimes they may not even know they have a legal issue. And so the bot just sort of crystallizes the brain dump they do, right?
Yeah, we'll throw in everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Into sort of an organized list of, well, you got to consider this and think about it, and I know about that. And, and so just watching the AI that we've built speak to the public in that way has been really exciting. And we continue to train. We need that information to continue to train and correct where necessary. But that's been fun. We have a similar bot, though, that talks to Courtroom5 customers, Courtroom5 members about their specific issues. And, can't say a whole lot about it, but that's a different level of excitement. And just to see the guidance, I'll put it carefully, that the bots provide to our customers to help them find the right tools and information on our platform has just been really exciting.
I imagine that's got to be helpful. I mean, just in both situations, because, we kind of hear about prompting and how, challenging prompting can be. And I'm thinking about pro se litigants where it's like, again, they don't know that they have a problem. They don't know the terminology. And this has got to be an incredible help for them.
We think so. And we've heard that from our customers for sure. And so, things are better with AI. I've been excited for it. I've been working not directly, but I was involved with AI very early on. I've been looking at it for 30 years and watching it grow, and just really excited to see the successes that it can have on a very difficult problem like the one we're solving. So just excited for the future of it.
Very good. So, Sonja, you know about our crystal ball question because you've been on before, but we're sort of doing this a little bit differently. So instead of a crystal ball, we basically are asking everybody, what advice would you give another couple who are considering working in the same field or working together in the same business like you are?
My first would be just commit to staying together. Just commit to your personal relationship first.
You've got to have a basis in that relationship, a solid foundation if you're going to build a business relationship on top of it, because it is, it's difficult. We've talked about some of the challenges in trying to silo conversations and, just keep things in their own lane. It's, building a startup in particular is a very difficult enterprise. And, if you don't have a solid personal foundation to build that on, it's going to be more difficult. Both of those are going to be more difficult, both the personal and the professional. On the flip side, though, if you do have a solid relationship, personal relationship, when you're thinking about, at least in our case, starting a business with your partner, don't do it because it's your partner and you want to spend a lot more time with them. That's not the reason to do it, right? That's a great benefit for sure. Great benefit, but it's not the reason. You want to choose a business partner who can add something significant to the business, right? That, I think, is really the secret to our success here. Courtroom5 wouldn't exist without, I think, either of us, but certainly Debra's skill set is critical to what we've been able to deliver. And so, I get to think about if I didn't have Debra, who would be the co-founder? I can't think of anybody, honestly, better suited to build this for Courtroom5. So you've got to have, you've got to satisfy yourself that you've got the right co-founder, not just the right partner if you're going to do this work.
Well, it sounds like you both do have the right partners, both in life and in business. So Sonja Ebron and Debra Slone, thank you both for coming to the Geek in Review and sharing your love and legal tech story.
It's been a pleasure to be here. Thanks so much, Marlene.
Thank you for inviting us.
And of course, thanks to all of you, our listeners, for taking the time to listen to the Geek in Review podcast. If you enjoyed the show, share it with a colleague. We'd love to hear from you, so reach out to us on social media. I can be found on LinkedIn, and Greg can also be found on LinkedIn and Threads at GlamPod. And as always, the music you hear is from Jerry David DeSica. Thank you both, and thanks everyone. Have a great day. Love and legal.